good afternoon now. We've crossed over into the afternoon, and so we want to stay on schedule. So I'm going to ask for your attention as we enter our main program. Thank you, Representative Goodrich. Folks, we hope you enjoyed your lunch today. I will let you know that that chocolate dessert is gluten-free in case you have, if you were wondering. We have some very brief chamber announcements. We can't skip this opportunity with a room of 600 really important folks in our community to share a few thoughts with you. The Noblesville Chamber convenes, connects, celebrates, and collaborates, all with the goal of strengthening the opportunities for success in all of our community. We do most of our work through and with the business community, and our work is powered through membership. So we want to thank all of you that are chamber members, and we want to extend a cordial invitation to all of you that are not just yet members to give some consideration. And if you'd like some information, Christy Spieler is here on our team and love to talk to you about some of those opportunities to engage with us. But I do want to draw attention. We have a variety of different levels of commitment to the chamber. And at our top level, at our legacy partner level, we've been very proud to call partners with First Merchants Bank and Riverview Health. And we really appreciate their ongoing long-term commitment to the success of the Noblesville business community and the Noblesville Chamber. And today, we're proud to announce that our friends from the Pacers Sports and Entertainment are joining those two other businesses at our legacy partner level. That is a commitment. If you are a member of the chamber or you're in the business community, that is a commitment to you, to the success of all of you as they invest through our organization in your success. And so if you would join with me, a round of applause for our folks at Pacers and welcome them as our partner. When you came in today, at your seat, I think you all saw Hamilton County Business Magazine. And what you may not know is there's a new owner with that publication, and it's our own Jason Manship from Moonshot Games. And he's got some excellent partners. Yes, yes, yes. They have a story to tell about how they're going to take this publication and this outreach to the business community to the next level. So on that very back page is a QR code, and I encourage you to take a look at that and learn a little bit about what they have in store. They're partnering with Spoke Note, and they have a print shop, personal press as well. And so, Jason, we wish you great luck with this publication. We're thrilled to see it end in such good hands, and we know you're going to tell the story of Hamilton County businesses quite well. So thank you, and good luck with that. We do have a couple of chamber events coming up, and you've seen them on the screen, but I do want to give attention to the Advancing Noblesville Awards, which is a program for the Advancing Noblesville Chamber Foundation. It's our charitable arm of the Noblesville Chamber, and we are going to be recognizing 16 finalists in a variety of categories on November 16th. And then also the mayor will present a mayor's award that evening. It's a great chance to celebrate all the great things that businesses, individuals, and organizations are doing in our community. And we'd like you to look at the slides about some of the businesses that made it into the finalist round this year and some of the individuals there. They've done extraordinary things in our community, and it's a great chance to celebrate them that evening. And we encourage you to join us for that event. We also have the lighting of the square coming up that we partner with Hamilton County on. It's on Small Business Saturday in downtown Noblesville, and it'd be a great chance to celebrate all the great things happening in our small business community and in particular our downtown. And then on December 6th, we encourage you to join us for a kind of a combination program. We always celebrate the holidays in December, but we're going to be joined by Dr. Dan Heil, our Superintendent of Schools, for the State of the Schools. And there's a lot of great news happening through our school program. This will be kind of about a year and a half in to his leadership, and there's some really extraordinary things happening to continue this excellence in our schools. And so you'll want to join us with Dr. Heil on December 6th. You can register online. And then finally, our AEC network. It's our architects, engineers, and construction. They did that fabulous billion-dollar tour to highlight all the economic development projects throughout Noblesville last year. On December 7th in the afternoon, Outlaw Restaurant, they're going to do a deep dive into the Hyde Park development. So you'll hear a little bit more about what's happening in there. That event is not meant for just that industry to be there. If you have some interest, business interest about, geez, what's coming, where are the opportunities for my business in that development, you'll want to join us for that afternoon. It'll be a casual event at Outlaws. And then finally, leadership for 2024 through the Noblesville Chamber. Our board has made a commitment to expand engagement opportunities for the business community, individuals, and so we'd ask you to give some thought, give some discernment about how you will spend 2024 serving your community. And we'd invite you to consider serving some of your time through the Noblesville Chamber of Commerce. And so if you'd like to learn more about that, there'll be some opportunities, some small coffee gatherings to learn more about where the opportunities might lie for you. But you also can certainly reach out to any one of our board members or any one of our staff members for that. So we'd love to hear from you. And now, kind of on to the main show. When I learned that this individual was going to be introducing the mayor, I couldn't be more thrilled because it's been a real pleasure and joy to watch our City Council President, Aaron Smith, rise up in leadership. Aaron is a small business owner. You may not know that. He owns Matchbox Creative and Strategic Communications. He also volunteers an awful lot of his leadership time in the community beyond what he does as a city councilor through Noblesville Main Street, serving on their board of directors, and a member of our own Chamber Foundation board of directors. One of the things I love, he's got this wonderful newsletter that gives a report on what's going on with City Council that comes out every month. It's been, since the day you got elected, it's been out there every month. But he has just a little statement about how he communicates and how he's accessible. It's anytime, anywhere, on any issue, he will meet you and discuss it. And so that's the kind of accessibility, that's the kind of leadership we need. And so I'm thrilled to introduce Aaron Smith to do our main introduction.
Thank you, Bob. Good morning, or well, I guess at this point, good afternoon, everybody. Oh, come on. Good afternoon, everybody. There you go. My name is Aaron Smith. I'm president of the City Council, and on behalf of the 71,000 people who call the 9th largest city in the state of Indiana home, I'm elated to have you in Noblesville and introduce a dear friend of mine today. I live downtown just a few blocks north of the square with my wife, Bronwyn, and our kids. Having a young family is one of the many similarities that Chris Jensen and I have in common. He and Julie have 4 kids, we have 2. Neither one of us were born into political families, but we got our starts working for good people in politics. Chris's first job was holding a purse for Lieutenant Governor Becky Skillman, and my first job was answering the phones in the United States Senate for Dan Coates. Dan and Becky are 2 people in the arena, as Teddy Roosevelt would say, for the right reasons. It's those foundational principles, strong families, good mentors, and kids still young enough that you have to change poopy diapers, that guide our work and keep us eager enough to take on any challenge that's thrown our way. I was at the Noblesville Main Street Farmers Market 3 years ago when we were trying to potty train our oldest. That's where a more passionate constituent of mine found me. Her conversations are never short and always touch on every single one of the hot button issues in Noblesville. Parking on the square, development downtown, or the latest rumor swirling around on Facebook. Mid-conversation, I started to feel a warm puddle pooling on my pants. Yes, you guessed it, our toddler missed the bathroom. So not only had we failed at potty training, but I was now in public defending the latest initiative of Chris Jensen, when it looked like I was the one that peed my pants. Don't ever say I did not do anything for you, Chris. In all seriousness, though, it's been an honor to walk alongside the mayor and bring Noblesville into its next chapter. Working with 9 city councilors is no easy feat. I'm convinced that we've been able to move so swiftly here precisely because our mayor goes against the grain. He reaches out to people that don't agree with him and does so with humility and grace. There's no question, no phone call, no email or text that he won't answer. And in case you want to test it yourself, his number is 317-509-3134. This mayor and administration make it easy to be on the same team, even if it means that we don't always agree. And as long as you don't read Noblesville chatter, you'll see that there really is a lot of good happening in Noblesville. Working alongside Mayor Chris Jensen, we have paved roads on the west side, built roundabouts on the east side, and preserved brick streets downtown. Working alongside Mayor Chris Jensen, we have doubled down on the people of Noblesville, talking openly about mental health and advocating for those with disabilities. Working alongside Mayor Chris Jensen, we have made our city safer with record investment in the men and women who serve and protect us each and every day. And working alongside Mayor Chris Jensen, we've seen more than $1.5 billion, that's a billion with a B, dollars worth of private investment in our city. We've bet on Noblesville in the past 4 years, and I know that Chris is just getting started. I want you to stand to your feet, put your hands together, and welcome to the stage Indiana's mayor, our mayor, the one and only Chris Jensen.
Dude, that was incredible. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
That was incredible, Aaron. That was incredible. Thank you. I should take Aaron with me everywhere. It reminds me of a few weeks ago I had a chance to go to where Aaron's son is a student at North Elementary School. They had a fun run, and I was invited to greet the students as they came off the bus that day. And if you're ever having a bad day, just go stand in the bus line of an elementary school in Noblesville, and you will feel like a rock star. So Aaron, thank you for that. Thank you to the entire City Council. I am so fortunate to stand in front of you today as someone who gets to lead a community that I call home and have called home my entire life, but lead beside 9 individuals, actually I'll say 11 because I'm going to throw 2 in there as well, who genuinely care about Noblesville. As Aaron said, we may not always agree. In fact, we oftentimes disagree, and I think that's okay. In fact, I think that's appropriate. In fact, I think that's what makes Noblesville so great. So will the members of the City Council, as well as our City Judge, Matt Cook, and City Clerk, Evelyn Lees, please stand up and be recognized. Thank you, and welcome everybody. It's an honor to have lunch with you today. Everyone needs a good base before we have candy later tonight, so I appreciate you taking time. I know you're probably upset that I am not dressed in a Halloween costume. Certainly you've seen on Facebook I was dressed as Maui last year in a skin-tight outfit at Disney. I'll do anything for my kids. But this year, actually, I decided to dress as an actual mayor for Halloween. I know my predecessor, John Ditzler, who's in the room, will be really proud. He usually gives me the once up and down when he sees me wearing a vest and dressed tennis shoes. So I'm dressed as an actual mayor today. In fact, a funny story about this suit before I actually get on to the substance of today. I purchased this suit 4 years ago before I gave my first State of the City. At the time, I was on a real great fitness journey, and if you know me, I'm usually on some kind of fitness journey, either up or down. And I had purchased this suit before my first State of the City and wore it. I had no idea what was coming next, a global pandemic. And during that pandemic, like so many of you, I fell in love. I fell in love with the puppy that my kids convinced me we had to have, who I swiftly have fallen out of love with. I fell in love with our 4th child that my wife also said we must have, who I still love. But I really fell in love with a thing called an ooey gooey cookie from Rosie's. Has anybody ever had them? Yes. It was because of that love of ooey gooey cookies that this suit sat in the closet for 3.5 years. Well, I'm back, baby. I worked hard this summer to get back in this suit. There was a time that honestly blue body paint looked better than this suit on me. So be thankful that this suit is where it is today. So with that in mind, before we get started, sit back, relax, and take a little tour of my hometown with me. Hi, I'm Mayor Chris Jensen, and welcome to the 2023 State of the City. As you well know, 2023 has been a great year of great progress in our community, and we have even greater plans for 2024. So let's take a little stroll and a tour around the city of Noblesville to learn about what's going on. Here at our western gateway of Noblesville, I'm standing in the Promenade development. Promenade is under construction, as you can see. It will be home to the Meijer grocery store, a 90,000 square foot groceries only Meijer here on the west side, as well as Promenade Trails, which will feature cottages and a 55 and older community. On the south side of 32 at Hazeldale will be Midland Point. Midland Point is a master plan development that will feature residential, retail, restaurants, and most importantly, direct access to the Midland Trace Trail. Now, many have noticed construction in downtown Noblesville, and I'm standing in the East Bank project, aptly named because it's located on the east bank of the White River. Our good friends at J.C. Hart have partnered with us to bring new residential units, new retail units, and to activate the White River in downtown Noblesville. This is all a part of one of our key pillars of our administration, which is protecting and enhancing downtown Noblesville. Here at Federal Hill Commons, you may recall nearly a decade ago, the city made a major investment in order to convert this floodplain into a very usable park. Many of you have visited here at our farmers market, our summer concert series, and even the ice skating rink. Well, as you can see, there's a lot of action going on. Welcome to Federal Hill Apartments, where we'll add new residential units, a new restaurant, a new coffee shop, I'll let you in on that soon, and also double the public parking space, all while impacting zero green space here in our beautiful park. Now let's talk about Noblesville's future. I'm here on the far east side of town in front of our good friends BorgWarner, a Fortune 500 company that's called Noblesville home since 2018. We launched a huge initiative several years ago called Innovation Mile, and we're giving BorgWarner some new neighbors. The Indiana Joint Replacement Institute broke ground earlier this year. And oh, by the way, Indiana and Noblesville are known for a lot of great things, but we're doubling down on basketball. The Indiana Pacers are bringing their G League team, and we're investing in a new event center along I-69 that will not only be home to the Pacers G League team, but community events throughout the entire year. Innovation Mile will be at the forefront of Noblesville's future. This campus will bring the jobs of the future, the opportunities of the future, the quality of life initiatives of the future. And as these companies invest in Noblesville, more opportunities will be seen by all residents, both current and future. As you can see, there's a lot going on in Noblesville, from north to south and east to west. All of these projects play a crucial role in helping Noblesville continue to be the authentic, innovative, unmatched community that it is today, and there's more to come. It's incredibly exciting over 4 years to take a look at a video like that, to see the work that has happened. Now, hopefully you think probably one of two things after you saw that video. One, I hope you think, wow, there's a lot going on in Noblesville. But two, you probably think fluorescent yellow isn't his color. And I understand. That originally was the headline, the cover photo on the magazine. And as you'll see, we swapped that out for more of a Johnny Cash look going forward. But thank you. Before I get started too, I really do want to thank Bob Dubois and his team at the Noblesville Chamber of Commerce, and also the folks at Embassy Suites. It's not easy to feed 650 people here today. Also our friends at McGavick, hopefully you caught a shuttle ride with them too. So if you'll give them a round of applause for the effort that they put in today. 4 years ago, I stood on this stage as a naive mayor coming in with 4 pillars of where we wanted to take the community. I already referenced that I wasn't sure what was coming down the pike with a global pandemic, but I'm proud of what we did during that pandemic. Just to quickly highlight, Noblesville was the first community to launch a small business resilience grant program, for example, where we were able to grant dollars to small businesses which make up our community to help them keep their doors open. And I'm proud that because of our partnership with the City Council, during COVID, we only lost 1 small business in downtown in Noblesville, which I think is an incredible testament to this community. You heard me talk 4 years ago about being a lion chaser. If you haven't heard that term yet, it's a reference to a book called Chase the Lion by a gentleman named Mark Batterson. And the subtext is, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. So I have challenged our team the past 4 years to be lion chasers. In fact, there are 480 lion chasers that work for the city of Noblesville every single day. If you are a lion chaser who works for the city of Noblesville, would you please stand up? Give them a round of applause. They are the ones who day in and day out wake up every single day, whether it be about keeping you safe, your kids safe, getting your road paved, planning your neighborhood, whatever it may be. They work day in and day out to make this community move forward the way that it does. People have asked, well, what's the theme for the next 4 years? And knowing that my mom has already voted, I'm in. So we're going 4 more years. And I actually read another one of Mark Batterson's book. I'm full of self-help these days. One of his books is now called Win the Day. And it's all about how do you win today? How do we conquer our fears and our hopes and our dreams today? And how do we win this day that we're in? And one of the themes in there is about kissing the wave. And at first you may ask, what does kissing the wave mean? What that means is it's about leaning into challenges. It's to confronting awkward situations. My team will roll their eyes because they know how much I love them. I always tell Allie Krupski, our city engineer, that a challenge is really just a great opportunity, right, Allie? She hates that. But it is a great opportunity. So we're going to kiss the wave, that we have to know that our obstacles are not impediments to progress. They are pathways to progress. So the next 4 years, we're going to kiss the wave in the city of Noblesville while we're going to be wave kissers and lion chasers in the city of Noblesville. So I'd like to talk a little bit about where we've been as a community and where we're going. First and foremost, I want to talk about our downtown. Hopefully you've been to downtown Noblesville, but it is truly the bread and butter of our community. It is what makes Noblesville unique. It's our unique identifier. It's something that no other community, regardless of how hard they try, will ever get to recreate. We have focused heavily on promoting, protecting, and enhancing our downtown the last 4 years. We also realized early on that we needed more people living, working, and playing in our downtown. Those downtown business owners, whether it be Noble Coffee and Tea or Rosie's or Bika Cafe or whatever it may be, they relied on citizens who not only stopped there in the morning on their way to work, but people who walked there in the morning to work. And hopefully you'll find if you're downtown that all of our coffee shops and restaurants are full every single morning with folks meeting and working throughout the day. But we really wanted to prioritize livability in our downtown. You saw this project in the video before you, East Bank. This is on, aptly named, the East Bank of the White River. It used to house a parking lot for our county employees to park, and we partnered with them to redevelop it. This will have not only livable options on the White River, but we'll also have retail activation space and more parking. And we're excited. If you come down the hill from Riverview Health on Connor Street and cross the bridge, first thing you're going to wonder is if there's a lane closure, probably. Second thing, you're going to see this beautiful building. You're going to see this beautiful building sitting there flanking our skyline, and we're excited about this project right in the core of our downtown. You saw this earlier too, Federal Hill Commons. Now I will tell you, I was not on the council when Federal Hill Commons was redeveloped and turned into a park, but I'm grateful for those who came before me that made those investments in downtown. Growing up in Noblesville, Federal Hill at the time was really a floodplain with some used car dealerships and tire shops. Now it is a marquee area in our downtown. It's expanding our downtown footprint. We also learned along the way that we needed more parking in downtown at Federal Hill Commons. That's where we have our farmers market, our downtown concert series. And so we partner with our friends at Old Town to develop the apartments at Federal Hill, which is a new parking structure that will double the public parking capacity at Federal Hill Commons and also provide more livable options overlooking our beautiful park. Now you may hear or say, why did you go in and redevelop a park that was just developed? I can tell you this project sits simply on the parking lot where the old parking lot was. So no green space was touched or impacted in this project. We're excited to open the parking garage and next month with Building A opening early next year for renters to find a home. We're also excited to announce today that Indie Coffee Roasters will be relocating a coffee shop on the main floor of Federal Hill Commons overlooking the park, and a new high-end Mexican restaurant, Bocado, which has brunch and tequila, perfect, in downtown Noblesville will be opening at Federal Hill Commons as well. So we're excited to welcome them to downtown Noblesville. Expanding our eating options, walkable options, livable options in our downtown core. The Nexus Apartments, I've talked about this before. Noblesville and so many communities across the state were home to empty big box stores. This happened to be on a site of an old marsh when it went out of business. We were fortunate to team up with some folks at Cityscape Residential to develop the Nexus Apartments, which is at full capacity and has helped flank our western edge of downtown, adding more residents, again, to our downtown core. The Lofts on 10th, Darren Peck and his team are at full capacity here now in the downtown. This project is a perfect example of a redevelopment project that fits the architecture and the aesthetics of our downtown. It also houses the Linden Tree now, which has moved off the square into the Lofts on 10th, as well as some co-working space, and our friends at Adam Grubb Media are there. Also has a rooftop deck that I've seen some incredible photos from recently overlooking our downtown. Culture is a key component to our downtown as well. We, several years ago, partnered with our friends at Hamilton County, which I see Commissioner Steve Dillinger there in the back. I thought you were going to ghost me. Glad you're here, sir. Thank you. I'm glad that he's here. And we partnered with them to reconstruct the Logan Street Bridge. We also knew that we wanted more walkability for folks that are downtown going over to Federal Hill Commons. So we worked with them on a new bump out overlooking the White River. But we also realized this was an incredible opportunity to develop that bump out to be more than just a concrete bump out over a beautiful river. Thus, the Bridge of Flowers. This is a partnership between the city, the county, and private philanthropy that have come alongside to enhance our downtown with the Bridge of Flowers. If you pass there during any season, you'll see seasonal flowers and decorations. You'll see kids during homecoming taking their homecoming photos on the bridge, couples doing selfies as they kiss over the White River. How wonderful is that to have in downtown Noblesville? And I thank our partners for that. And if you haven't seen it, take some time on your way home to drive across the Bridge of Flowers. And as we're on the topic of culture, there's a key partner that I have to give a quick shout out to, and that's our friends just a hop, skip, and a jump down the road here at Ruoff Music Center. Now, I normally go through and list all the other names that it once was, and we all know it's really Deer Creek. But the folks at Ruoff get really ticked about that. But it is Ruoff today, and we appreciate their corporate partnership. But our friends at Ruoff have been an absolute economic driver for culture, innovation, and music in our community. You see the stats on the screen there, what they do every single year. And I want to thank Andrew Newport, Live Nation, and all of them for coming alongside us to add value and continue to put heads in beds. Brenda Myers shaking her head back there. Heads in beds in Noblesville and Hamilton County. So thank you, Ruoff, for being an incredible asset to our community. I want to spend some time today talking about public safety. We have some public safety folks over here, and every day when a little kid asks me, what do I do on a daily basis, or what do I think about? Job number one, when my alarm goes off, is to think about the health and safety of the city of Noblesville. And I share that concern with all those who lead any community or any agency or any company or any school system in the city of Noblesville. This year alone, public safety accounts for 50.1% of our annual operating budget. We're making record investment in our police department, in our fire department, and our Noble Act program that I'll talk about here shortly. We're enlisting new officers every day to come and work for the city of Noblesville to help keep us safe. I truly believe without a safe community, we would have no community at all. And I just want you all to know and go on record here today to let you know that we invest heavily in the men and women who wear the uniform that keep our city safe every single day, and we will continue to make those investments at a record level going forward. Speaking of Noble Act in our schools, yes, worthy of that. That can't be done in a vacuum. It's done with partnerships. And I want to talk for just a minute about a key partnership. You may recall several years ago, Noblesville was on the front line of a very terrible day in May of 2018 when we had a school shooting. I'm happy to say during that time, we were already well underway and ahead of the game of making sure that we had at least one police officer in every one of our elementary schools. And that is a partnership between the city of Noblesville and Noblesville schools. So I want to thank Dr. Dan Heil, I want to thank Dr. Joe Forgy, and Noblesville schools, Dr. Heather Hendrick as well, for continuing that partnership. I have a completely selfish interest in this. I have 3 kids that get up every single day and get on the bus and go to Noblesville schools, soon to be a 4th. I have 3 nephews and a future niece, as well as the First Lady of Noblesville goes into Hazeldale every day. She has by far a harder job than me, but I know every day they are safe because the men and women, well, men and Heather, standing behind me. So give them a round of applause. From day one of our administration, not knowing what was down the path, we have invested heavily in mental health. People ask every day, what am I most proud of in the past 4 years? And I could tell you about a great roundabout we've opened or a great pothole we've filled or whatever that may be. Right, Patty? Potholes. There you go. I will tell you, though, at the end of the day, our focus on mental health is what makes me by far the most proud. I want to thank an individual named Kristen Boyce, who you see on the screen, who encouraged me back in April of 2020. She asked if I would go on Facebook Live, always dicey, on Facebook Live and do a counseling session during the pandemic. And I was very hesitant to do that. But I did, and after a half an hour and thousands of viewers later, the amount of people that came up and talked and thanked us for going on and talking about the challenges that we all faced during that difficult time is worth every minute and every vulnerability that I have shared over the past 4 years. I want Noblesville to be a community where it is safe to say, I'm not okay. Where it's okay to raise your hand and say, you know what, I need help. And we have to get back to that in our communities to help save lives going forward. And if we can do that through our focus on mental health, I will tell every bad thing about me in my life on Facebook all day long if it helps lead people to seek the help that they need. Speaking of that, I want to talk about our Noble Act program. In year one, again, not knowing what was coming, we launched with the encouragement of a great individual named Steve Nation, a former judge in this community, now a county councilor, a paramedicine program. Paramedicine is proactive programming in our community where our officers are going out and identifying at-risk individuals, or they are self-identifying themselves, and we're getting them the help they need before they get into our legal system, before they get into our hospitals. If we can seek out and get that in a proactive way, we can save lives going forward, and that's what the Noble Act program is all about. But we're aided in that not just by the 5 individuals, soon to be 6, who work for Noble Act, but we're aided in that by these 3 characters behind me here. Noblesville, because of a wonderful private donor, has been able to acquire 3 public safety therapy dogs. I can tell you in the state of Indiana, there's no more than 20 across the state, and Noblesville's home to 3 of them. Luna works in our police department. Carbon, there in the middle, works for our fire department. And Sadie, although I've called her Stella for the past 2 months, Sadie, by the way, works internally. So Stella and Carbon, Luna and Carbon, there we go on runs with our public safety officials. They'll go into homes where a veteran may be suffering from PTSD and is struggling to share his emotions. He or she can jump up on that veteran's lap and calm them down instantly. They may go on a run where there may be a domestic violence dispute between husband and wife in a home, and there are kids in there that have witnessed that. Carbon and Luna can help calm them and process their emotions. Now, Sadie's role is a little bit different. Sadie is solely focused internally. I don't think we appreciate on a daily basis what the men and women who wear our uniform see and do every single day. They are on every one of those calls I just mentioned, and then they get to go home and be a husband or a father or a wife. How do they process their emotions? That's what Sadie's here for, and I'm really proud of the work that they are doing. I will tell you, Noble Act, since its inception, has had over 6,000 calls for service. We have aided 1,500 people in the city of Noblesville with an over 65% success rate to help them find the services and the needs and the support that they need. This is not only a program focused on doing the right thing in our community. Quite frankly, it's focused on doing the fiscally sound thing in our community. As I mentioned, 50.1% of our annual operating budget is for public safety. If we can help reduce those 911 calls over time, we're actually saving taxpayer dollars and are able to reinvest in that going forward. I am so proud of the Noble Act program that I truly believe that it should be a model for the rest of the state of Indiana. And so today, somebody dared me, and I'm going to do it. I would like to launch a statewide initiative, working with our friends at the General Assembly, working with our governor and future governor, to launch the Indiana Community Cares program. What this program does is it seeks to incentivize communities across the state, cities and towns, to develop a paramedicine program. Put the act in place to invest in this program and save lives. When they do that, they will be eligible through the state of Indiana, through our friends at the Family and Social Services Agency, for a up to $150,000 grant from the state of Indiana to hire a licensed clinical social worker or an equivalent mental health partner within their police department. I am really proud of the fact that we have focused in the state of Indiana because of good partners like our friends at Volunteers of America, for example, on erasing the stigma around mental health. But ladies and gentlemen, it's time that we put boots on the ground across the state of Indiana to do something about that, and this program will seek to do just that. I want to thank my friend Senator Scott Baldwin, who is here, as well as Representative Chuck Goodrich, who are going to help spearhead that through the General Assembly. The goal of this, and I've already let every mayor across the state of Indiana know that I was making this announcement today, and I've heard from Monticello, from Angola, from Logansport, from Greenwood, from Evansville, and everywhere in between that they are on board. This is not just free money coming from the state of Indiana. We have to have skin in the game as communities. We have to put the program in place, but then we're going to ask the state of Indiana to come alongside us and help us take that next step. As we help take the next step and help give a hand up to vulnerable Hoosiers, we are going to ask the state of Indiana to give a hand up to communities as they're making this investment. So look out for more on this in the future, but it's time to take Noblesville stories statewide and get other communities to get boots on the ground to help save lives and save money in our communities across the state of Indiana. Infrastructure. I love roads and bridges and wastewater treatment plants. It's great. It's what makes our community hum. I also love a project called Pleasant Street. And if you haven't heard about it, shame on you. PleasantST.com, reimaginepleasantst.com is where you should go. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about this project, but first I'm going to show you a really cool video. As many of you know, this project has been talked about for longer than I've been alive. And you laugh, but it's true. And when I ran for office 4 years ago, I said, you could throw me out in 4 years, but I'm building that road. So thanks for not throwing me out, but I'm still building the road. We are building the road. And I'm proud to say that next month, we will actually next week, open 8th Street roundabouts. This project is ahead of schedule and under budget. Luke Kinley, there you go. All in all, the idea here is to open another artery east to west in our community, to make our downtown more accessible for people who want to get downtown, and for those folks who live where I live, trying to get to Mojo Upfield House, just trying to get there without having to go through downtown. So again, totally selfish reasons, but I'm excited about this project, and we are well on our way to getting it completed going forward. I also want to thank our friends at the state MPO, as well as our county commissioners and county council. They have been a huge partner in this, and without them, it would not be able to be done. Yeah, I announced 4 years ago that we're partnering with our friends at NDOT to make east to west traffic more accessible in the city of Noblesville. And that involves some new roundabouts in front of our friends at Riverview Health on State Road 32. The biggest question I always got was, will the sign go back up with all the baby names on it? David, it's there. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I saw a little baby named Tilly actually here, was born just the other day. So the sign is back up, the roundabouts are open, and as a lady asked me this week, yes, we will put more than grass in the middle of the roundabout, I promise you. We were focused on just opening the road first. So I want to thank our friends at the Department of Transportation for investing in east to west connectivity with us. Bowdoin Road, which is not far from here, is going to be a major corridor with huge upgrades. It's home to Hamilton Southeastern School's newest elementary school. They're at Deer Creek, aptly named, Elementary School. There's new roundabouts along Bowdoin Road, and there's new intersection improvements coming up with later next year a new roundabout at State Road 38 and Bowdoin Road. We're trying to move our way to the east as the growth in the community grows over here on the east side. Trail connectivity is key in every community. I can tell you 15 years ago when I worked for the state of Indiana under the Daniels administration, we called trails quality of life initiatives. Today we just call them trails. And in fact, every resident of our community and every future resident of our community not only wants trails in our community, they expect trails in our community, and we've doubled down and invested heavily. I appreciate just this past week, we cut the ribbon on the Nickel Plate Trail, which will connect 146th Street all the way into downtown Noblesville. That was possible with a partnership with our friends at the Department of Natural Resources and Governor Holcomb's office through their Next Level Trails Grant program. Once completed, this will connect with the Midland Trace Trail in downtown Noblesville, making a 41-mile loop over to the Monon and Westfield, down to Indianapolis and back up, adding to the connectivity of not only Noblesville, but of central Indiana as a whole. You see some other trails that we have broken ground with and opened in the past year. One I would like to pull out is the Levee Trail, simply because this year is our city's bicentennial. We are turning 200 years old, and so we have been marking new improvements across the city with the bicentennial seal. So you'll see that on some of the new projects that we've opened recently. I want to take a quick moment and thank Megan Wiles and Brett Richardson, who have co-chaired the Bicentennial Commission, probably against their will at times, but thank them for all they've done to help lead this wonderful celebration. It's also Hamilton County's bicentennial as well, so I'm glad that we're able to celebrate not only the history of our community, but where are we going in the future. Also, the Stony Creek Trail is the first ever trail connectivity that links the east side of State Road 37 to the west side, and there's more trails coming to the east side as well. Finally, I would like to spend a few moments talking about economic development. It is important that we continue to grow and diversify Noblesville's economic base. I always say that our downtown is our hobby. It's what we love. It's what we love to talk about. But this east side where we're standing today is our job. And we need the jobs of the future and the dollars of the future to pay for our hobby. And you're going to see a lot of that going forward. A few stats, which I usually don't put stats on a slide, but I think it's important to see the overall growth, not just in population, but income and housing units, where the city of Noblesville is and where it's going in the future. It's incredibly exciting to be the mayor of not only my hometown, but of a community that is poised for growth, that is strategic in that growth, and is responsible fiscally in that growth going forward. The 146th Street corridor has been a boom and a beacon of success for us at Washington Business Park. If you haven't been by there, that's just north of the brand new Costco, by the way. That'll be opening next month, and is home to some great businesses. IDI, which is a longtime Noblesville business, is building their brand new world headquarters in Washington Business Park, just to name one great example of that. Along the 146th Street corridor this past year, I am so proud of the work that our team put in, along with the City Council, to land Bastion Solutions. Bastion Solutions is a Toyota subsidiary. It's a Japanese-based company that is investing major dollars, over $150 million nearly, into Noblesville, into their new campus. They will be the jobs not only of today, but the absolute jobs of the future, and the job attraction which we are focused on going forward. Over on the far east side where we're situated right now, we also realize it's not just about jobs, but there is a housing shortage over on the east side. We have incredible amenities. Ruoff, I talked about earlier, Hamilton Town Center as well as this property here at NBC Suites. So we're investing heavily in some residential units here called Hyde Park. Hyde Park will help be the residential units of the future for those that are working at Innovation Mile, which I'll talk about shortly, but also shopping and playing here on the east side of Noblesville. Speaking of Innovation Mile, this is a project we kicked off 2 years ago, and I want to give a shout out to Andrew Murray, our city's economic development director. This was his baby, and it's been a big baby and an exciting baby along the way. We know in Hamilton County that land is premium, and quite frankly, Noblesville has the space to grow into the future. But we wanted to make sure that we are growing in a responsible way with the jobs of the future, and so we have master planned nearly 600 acres called Innovation Mile. There in the future, you will see innovative infrastructure. You will see the jobs of the future. You will see companies that are thinking in the space of innovation, of life sciences, of tech and pharma, calling it home. It's not just a place for business, though. It's going to be a place for fun, and we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. You can see the master plan outline here, which is almost complete. We have a pipeline of businesses who are looking forward to calling Innovation Mile home. It fronts I-69 with easy access to the interstate, easy access to housing and new development as well, and we're excited to launch this going forward. Now, there's a lot of projects I talked about today, and I'm going to give a quick plug for our friends in planning at the City of Noblesville. We know we have a lot of questions and a lot going on, so we're rolling out just this week a brand new dashboard, cityofnoblesville.org/development. There, every project I just laid out for you will be available for you to learn more, to dive in, to understand, an interactive map where you can see what is going on all around the City of Noblesville. If you can't figure it out, you know my cell phone, call me, I'll walk you through it, and we'll get through the technology together. But I want to say thank you to the folks who helped us develop that. Now let's talk about a little exciting opportunity that I talked about early on in our video, and also is pretty well represented behind me. The Noblesville Event Center, which will break ground next week, will be home to the Pacers G League team. It's not only going to be home to the Pacers, but for several hundred days throughout the year, we'll be home to other events in our community. We imagine this space being a great spot for different athletic tournaments going on, different trade shows and different conferences. Its incredible exposure on I-69 has made it a popular destination and a key focal point for us going forward. So I'm excited to talk a little bit more about that investment here in just a few minutes. But I want to wrap up this portion of my speech by saying that the state of the city in Noblesville is strong. Noblesville is a strong community because we're making wise investments in our infrastructure. Noblesville is a safe community because we're making incredible investments in our public safety. Noblesville, as I said earlier, is a community where it's okay to not be okay. A community where it's okay to raise your hand and ask for help. Noblesville is a great community because we're focused on the jobs of the future, also supporting the jobs of today and all those who have invested in our community. Noblesville is a fiscally sound community that just passed its 5th budget, keeping the tax rate the same, that is spending less than we're taking in and making wise investments. Noblesville is a great community because we have incredible schools in Noblesville schools as well. I am honored every single day to serve as mayor of my hometown, and we're just getting started. So ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, and thank you, and God bless you for being here today. Thanks. Thank you. As mentioned, I had an opportunity about a year ago was approached by the Indiana Pacers. And I can tell you folks, I had an idea of what being mayor was like. I was ready to build roads. I was ready to help build an economy where jobs would flourish. I was looking at innovation in terms of public safety. Attracting the Pacers franchise to Noblesville was simply not on my bingo card. But I'm really glad that we had the opportunity. So will you help me welcome to the stage a new friend of mine with Pacers Sports and Entertainment, Mr. Rick Fuson. Hold on, let this go first.
Oh, this is going first?
Yeah. Sit down.
Like a king chair.
I know, right? I look just like that guy.
What's this, the drum line?
Yeah, look at that. That's exciting, huh?
Yeah, hey.
You said you had a question, Rick?
No, I do. So, you've got all this stuff going. You've got a place where you can have 55-year-olds live.
Yep.
Do you have a place where 70-year-olds can live too? I'll move from South Carmel.
Well, you know, we all make mistakes, Rick, but we'd be happy to have you here. You know, here's the thing. You can stay in South Carmel as long as you invest millions of dollars in the Pacers being here. All right?
Deal.
I'll make a deal with you. First of all, thank you for taking time to do this today. I know I sent you some questions that we were going to go over, and I don't have a clue what they were, so we're just going to go off script here.
Well, let me answer.
Oh, okay, that's good. No, I got questions for you.
Okay.
So these folks, talk a little bit about the G League. I think I've done an okay job probably butchering my way through the past 6 months talking about this. As my brothers who are at this table will tell you, I wasn't even very good at video games growing up, so not my strongest suit. But talk about what is the G League, what are the Mad Ants, and tell us a little bit about that story.
Sure, just let me say thank you for having us here. You're going to ask me a question about why here.
Okay, get right on that.
You know, what you just did and what you just showed us is why. And you can't get that every place. And for me to sit there and to hear you publicly, really for the first time in front of this wonderful crowd, I'm a believer in you as well.
Thanks, thank you.
Not just you, but this city, the city council, this group that you call Noblesville. Man, you are impressive.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I will say I have a pretty good product to talk about.
Yeah,
so
you do.
Pretty
That's
honored.
for sure.
Pretty honored.
So the G League was started in 2001, 2002 by the NBA. At that time, was called the D League. And so after a little while, the teams and the league decided, well, if you're going to get a D, you're not going to be very positive. So they made a deal with Gatorade to change it to the G League, which makes sense. Nobody's ever gotten a G. You got A through F, right? So that's what it was. Nobody got a G. So they started in that time. The Mad Ants got in under another owner in 2007. They won the championship in Fort Wayne in 2014. Herb and our company bought the team in 2015, and here we are today. The G League, in my opinion, is the second highest basketball league in the world. 50% of the players in the NBA have played in the G League. Not everybody knows that. Everybody just thinks they came out of college, they got drafted, you know, they went to Europe and whatever else, and then they came to the G League. Well, that's not true. You know, we have players who sit on the bench and play at the Pacers who will play in Noblesville. And hopefully on Tuesday night they'll play in Noblesville, and on Friday night they'll play at Gainbridge Fieldhouse downtown. And so the G League is a group of people who around this country who are great basketball players. You know, there's only 2 rounds in the NBA draft every year. That's only 60 players. You know, many of you like college ball. There's more than 60 players in this room who you thought about in terms of should be in the NBA. And so we've got them coming from all over the world. This year we're going to have them from Greece. We're going to have them from Japan, you know, all over the world. And you know, you mentioned something to me when we announced that we were going to move to Noblesville. You heard about the Mad Ants moving to Noblesville in Sports Illustrated. You know, and so that's one of the important things about this league. You know, we have 50 games we'll play. 18 of them this year will be on ESPN+. They have 25 million viewers. It's from sea to sea, from north to south. And Noblesville's name, when we come up here and play, is going to be out all across the country.
That's incredible. Yep. I would say after I heard about it in Sports Illustrated, I got a call from a Fort Wayne newspaper or a TV station that wanted me to come on and talk about it.
That's good.
That was fun.
Yeah, nice. Tom Henry still loves you. He still loves you.
He hasn't returned my call. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about why the decision to move. I mean, you guys have been in Fort Wayne. I've known about the Mad Ants. So you know, we'll talk about the name in a few minutes too. But you know, what went into that decision making?
Yeah, I'm not going to ding Fort Wayne.
Yeah, no.
You know, it's a great city, the second largest city in our state. But we felt that we would have a better future in building Pacers fans if we were closer to the hub of the Pacer Nation. And so when we looked around at the cities that surrounded Indianapolis, that were part of the region, that were making sure that our region, not only Indianapolis in their own hometown was strong, but that the region was strong. And you know what? You just proved it. You're strong. The city's strong. And that's why we got a better deal than I could have ever imagined just hearing what you guys are doing. And you know, you are a young town, you know, with old people. Senator,
I'm
I
not
didn't say that.
pointing any fingers.
But it's
you
true.
can point.
And I think it's a lot like where I grew up in Indianapolis. You know, we had the elders, and we still have the elders, but we had the young group coming up. And at the same time, I think you are seeing, and we saw in you, that you all are starting to mix together the generations to take this city forward. And we want to be part of that, and we want to grow with you.
That's exciting. I can tell you, not everybody mixes that well. You know, there are some elders around that like to tell me how to get dressed in the morning, but we get through it. It's great.
Well.
So, talk a little bit about you know what attracted you to Central Indiana. What does that investment look like for you guys? And really, what does basketball in Central Indiana? What does sports in general look like in Central Indiana in the future? You've obviously had your finger on the pulse of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting my 40th year with the Pacers, and so I've been a part of the sports strategy for a very long time. And going back to Dick Lugar in Indianapolis and Jim Morris and a lot of the people that we all know who have been leaders, Luke Kenley and others, have made this sports thing for real. You know, it's worth billions of dollars. You know, Brenda back in the back, you know, she was served on the CIB, and she knows very well what sports has done for the region, not just Indianapolis, but for the region. And I think sports is very strong. You start and think about what we've got coming in February downtown Indianapolis with the All-Star Game. Maybe one of the strongest, if not the strongest, worldwide event that we've ever had here. Somebody would say, "Oh, the Super Bowl's bigger than that." Well, it is in the country. You're right. But in terms of the world, when the NBA is seen in 215 countries and heard in 40 some odd languages, with 1,800 media coming from across the world. Indianapolis, Central Indiana, the home of the Mad Ants in Noblesville, will be out all across the world. So I think sports is very strong. You know, I mean, you look at your own area, you look at the kids and young people coming to play volleyball and basketball just up the street on Bowdoin Road and other places. You know, I think it's been a great economic development tool, and it will continue to be a great economic development tool. And I'm so proud that you are going to build a event center that, in my opinion, is of the right size, in the right place, and in the right method to be able to go into the future. So sports, hey, you can dig it, but you all root for the home team.
That's right. That's right.
You know, maybe IU, maybe Kentucky, maybe Michigan State or whatever else. But we are all about winning, and we're all about camaraderie. And sports brings us together both from a fan standpoint and from an economic standpoint.
I'll say, you know, in terms of our strategy, one of the biggest challenges, and I think the governor would tell you too, is that we as a state, one of the biggest existential threats that we face is a growth in population. We don't have an ocean, we don't have a mountain range. We've got to focus on keeping young people here in Central Indiana, and I think this plays to that strategy. I see my mayor's youth councils down there. You know, I was talking to them that once they signed up for the youth council, they can never leave Noblesville. So it's good. They're going to stay here. So we've got to make sure that we make these investments in the future to keep young adults and have more activity and quality of life initiatives here in Central Indiana.
I mean, you grew up in Noblesville.
Yep.
You haven't done bad.
Yeah, that's right.
And you stayed here.
Exactly right.
I grew up in Indianapolis. Hey.
Here you are.
I haven't done bad, and I'm okay, and we're here.
One funny story before we close out. I had a chance to meet your boss, Herb Simon, who owns the Indiana Pacers and owns quite a few other things, this past week. And I told him you were a good negotiator, because you may recall about a year ago, you came out to meet with me. Danny Lopez, where's Danny Lopez? Danny Lopez brought, he'd be a great state representative, by the way, Danny Lopez. There you go, see? Danny brought you up to meet with me, and I said, you know, the first time I ever met Rick, you know, he was talking to me about the Pacers. I was like, that's great. And then finally I was like, we're going to get to the point here. What do you want to talk about? And then you started pitching this idea of the G League. And I said, you know, I'm okay with building roads and saving people's lives and that type of stuff, but this is different. And I go, Rick, what does a partnership with Indiana Pacers look like? You remember what you said?
I probably said it looks something that should be for me, not you.
He goes, I'm not sure if it's really a partnership. If you build the arena, I might bring the team.
See, there you go. There you go.
And I remember calling Danny Lopez. I was like, that's not going to fly with the taxpayers in Noblesville. We're going to need to work on that. So, yeah, you know, 6 months later, we had a pretty good deal.
Yeah, we did. And,
so,
you know, we really appreciate you listening.
Yeah.
And the fact that you were taking a nap during that meeting, I'm glad you finally woke up.
That's why I have Matt Light over there. He usually takes good, diligent notes. So, final piece of advice that you give to the next generation of leaders. You've been in your field for a long time, 40 years. You know, what would you give to somebody here that's interested in the sports world, or just a young person who wants to make a difference in their community?
Believe in yourself, first and foremost. Never doubt what you can do. and your partner next to you will help you get there. You can't do it by yourself, but you can do it as a community together.
That's awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me thank Spaces Sports and Entertainment, Rick Houston. Thank you. Appreciate you, buddy. I will simply close by saying thank you for being here today. Happy Halloween. Enjoy your candy tonight. Drive safely. Thank you very much, everyone.